GKFX Prime presents the Market Analysis Webinar.
Hello traders, welcome to another week in the markets. We are in the summer months. It is the middle of July 2023. My name is Dima. Thank you for joining me. We've got some more high probability setups for you this week as usual. Let's see where the markets take us this week and what price action gives us, what opportunities we've got that we can capitalize on and hopefully make some profits on our accounts and manage our risk. Let's begin with the calendar as always, not waste any time. Let's see what we've got for this week. What are the major news events on the calendar we should pay attention to, which may create a bit of volatility. Monday, on the pound, we've got a speech from the Bank of England. On Tuesday, we've got another pound news, the claim account change of less significance perhaps on Tuesday as well. From the Eurozone is the German economic sentiment. Germany typically is a big driver of the European economy, so that's why this is there. And then on Wednesday, we have a big day to watch out for. We've got a rate announcement from New Zealand. We've got a speech from the Bank of England. We've got CPI numbers, yearly numbers on the dollar, so I want to watch out for CPI. And we've also got the rate announcement from Canada. And then towards the end of the day, the 10-year bond auction from the US. So Wednesday is a big day in terms of news. Then on Thursday, we've got another pound news, GDP there, and on the dollar PPI numbers. And it's on that day, New Zealand holiday, bank holiday. And then to end the week on Friday, consumer sentiment perhaps of less significance compared to the whole week. But of course, marked out to start these news because Wednesday is going to be the one to watch for. And perhaps Thursday would be of some significance as well. Let's see where Monday's pound news takes us to on the pound there. Okay, so this is the calendar. Let's bear that in mind. We have, just to keep in our heads, New Zealand, CAD, a bit of dollar, and pound as the major ones to look out for. Okay, so here we are. Right, let's have a look at the charts for this week. Okay, got a few from this week, a few carried over, and a few others to look for. Okay, right, let's start with the majors as always. And just to remind you, if you like this video, do click the like button. If you've got some comments, you want to discuss a few charts, comment down below. Let's just interact. See, I have, it's not to say that I pick all the best charts all the time. You may have some others as well. Everybody sees the market differently, of course. That's the beauty of it. And it may be that, well, it doesn't necessarily mean that I've got it right here as well, right? I'm just going with the probabilities and trying to keep things consistent in terms of the way we approach things every week here. So let's begin with the pound. Let's have a look at what we've got on the pound. Let's go to our usual weekly chart here. So here's the monthly. We got bullishness here. Here's the weekly. We've got a bullish week last week. You can delete all these previous markings because otherwise they will be distracting. Let's keep the chart clean, and naked charts are usually best to observe on. So we've got last week close bullish, and we should have an expectation, or I should say high probability, that we are in a bullish environment. So we haven't quite cleared this high, but we are still bullish. So now we're going to see whether we have a reaction here, remembering that we do have pound news. So where's the reaction? Well, we have a level here. If we draw a fib from the last low to the significant high, you can see that here's the 50 level and this is the level below. So the first zone is this level that we see here, and then the second zone will be the deeper retracement if the market wants to go lower. So we're going to watch out for a turnaround, a reversal in the price action to continue towards the highs. First target would be up here, and then if I zoom out, the next target will be the next swing, which will be up there. Now we'll have to see a clear swing. If that happens before the news, I'll be suspicious of it because, well, the news will usually create some kind of volatility, and if it's too early, you don't want to be trading too early because we may be caught out. So I would like this, if this is the scenario that is likely to play out, to happen on or just after the news. Yeah, we want to see clear price action. That's the main thing in order to validate this setup. This would be the validation point, so don't want to see the market going beyond there, which is for the price tag. There it is, and we've got this area here. Okay, so this is the idea for this week on pound dollar. So overall bullishness. It may also be the case that this whole area here is a range, as you can see, because we have not broken this high, so we may go down into the range and play around in the range for a little bit before we actually break higher. But we'll see how it goes. We just have to play it as we see it at the moment. There is a little gap here that was created at the beginning of the week, so we may yet come in and fill that and break through that. So that's the pound dollar. Let's do another pound pair just for consistency. Pound Aussie is also one we've been looking at. Here's last week bullish. We're expecting bullishness, and we were just looking at getting a better price, which we did not get last week. So clear bullishness on the pound. The market left seemingly without us, and now we have another push higher and a break above the high. What does this mean? Well, it means that since we've broken the high, I'm no longer going to look for this because we have actually gone through the high. So what next? Well, what next is we want to see another swing. Now the question is this the swing low down here? Well, I don't know because we're not yet closed above the high. So I'm still going to look for a possible retracement to get a better price. Perhaps this could be a kind of a range. If you look on the lower time frame, I don't know yet because we haven't broken through. Therefore, perhaps getting another chance to have a bite at this cake. And if we get a lower price and a reversal, that would be my favored scenario. So here's this high that we've reached. Let's just delete this line. The next high would be, if we look on the weekly, this high up here. So this is the high that we reached. Now the question is, are we going to clear this high? Now we are dilly-dallying, hesitating a little bit off here, unless we close higher on the 4 hour. That would be the sign to go higher. However, so far that's not the case. Very early in the week. Just yet, if you look at the lower time frames, we're just about breaking this previous day and week. So let's see where we actually go from here. It does look very, very bullish. So if we don't get that lower price, the next possible scenario would be the break higher, pull back. You know the drill by now, I think. Do the soften and then continuing to higher prices. At that point, we may have a level like so, or higher, who knows. Well, for now, really want to see that better price. What I would like to do is perhaps set an alert here if we reach into that to be notified. Always worth setting alerts at key places just to keep you in the loop so that you know what's going on and you are aware when the market is coming to you. So that's the idea on pound Aussie. Very clearly bullish, as you can see. Bullish candles clearing this high, and now we're going higher. So we do have pound news, and we also have We do have New Zealand news, although this is not a New Zealand pair, but we'll see if that affects the Aussie. I'll be more interested in watching the pound news events and timing. That's the pound Aussie. Let's now move on to the next one. So we've got another one related, Euro Aussie, which is similar, isn't it? You could see here that we've got highs being broken. Maybe the monthly is clearer. Highs being broken. This wick being left behind last month. On the weekly, we have bullishness. This impulsive move higher, breaking a high here. So all these structures being broken. Let's go to the daily. We have this possible swing being created. Let's go to the 4 hour, and similar kind of swing to the pound Aussie, isn't it? So I'm looking at this low to be held, because that's the last significant low that we can see. And this means that we also may have this swing being created. Now, let's see whether we actually break higher, but if we do get the same idea as the pound Aussie, if we do get a lower price, if it happens, definitely we'll be interested then. To go higher into the next logical level, which is these highs from last week. And after that, we'll have the next high there, but we'll see what happens. So if that drop happens, fantastic. We're waiting to see that. That'll be great. Here's that. See that gap in price and this kind of level here is also significant. We'll see if that happens. Now, if it doesn't, of course, the same idea as the pound Aussie. Alternatively, have to plan for the alternative scenario, a break, pulling back to a better price, getting a better price, and then going higher. So I don't know how this swing will form out, if it does, but if it does and it plays out like so and just breaks higher, then I'll be interested in that. If you need a bit of time to look at the charts and just take a better look at what I'm saying, then pause the video now, pause the video where it suits you, and just take in all the information. If it doesn't apply to you, you're not interested in the chart, then just stay with me, right? And let's keep going. Hope this is clear to you, it's making some sense. And let's move on to the next one, shall we? Let's go to EURAUD. Another one I believe I looked at. So I was looking at a bearish scenario on the CAD, I believe, last time. The market did not give it to us, so here it is. I was looking to break lower and continue downwards. That did not happen. We went higher. So now that we have gone higher, now the question becomes, let's delete these because this is from last week. What's next for the EURAUD? So let's have a look on the weekly. Right, the weekly looks like we are in a swing. We closed bullish. However, we have not yet cleared this high, which would be the significant structural high on the weekly. Let's take a quick look on the monthly. We've not yet closed this month's candle, of course, we're still in July, so not quite clear whether this is going to be a swing low or not to continue its bullishness. Now, this is the case where we should be careful because we don't know exactly what's going on, if we have reached a retracement or we are going to break highs. So that is the caveat here, that is the thing to watch out for, which makes this a bit unclear. So how to approach this scenario? Well, I'm going to have to consider both sides and see what plays out. Now, this high is of significance to me, so because of that, I will look for a break higher, a pullback to a better price. I don't know where that's going to be, but I'd like as clean a break as possible, and then continuing to the upside. And the last logical, first of all, is here, and then we've got the most clearest swing point up here. We may have a bit of a resistance here, but we'll see how the market breaks through. So that is the idea for the EURAUD if we actually get this scenario playing out. If we don't, we have to consider an alternative. So remembering that we do have CAD news this week, and we want to watch out for that. And what I will be watching for is, first of all, if we have this zone here, you can maybe see where the market has reacted from. So if we now get a break of level, so here, and then we also get a break of this level, so I would like 2 breaking points as a confirmation. So really the significant one will be down here to tell us that this low is not holding anymore, and the first sign will be a break of this low point, and I'd really like to see a break of this structural low to know that we're continuing lower, and therefore this trend would no longer be holding. Now once we get that break of this low, any pullback to a better price, a swing, would be the continuation lower to these original levels that I was looking down here. So I'm still considering, we're still being flexible with the market and seeing where is it actually going to go, and waiting for it to tell us where it wants to go. At the moment, I will still consider this level as a target and this level as a target, but I don't know yet. It's not high probability yet. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of outlining a scenario, a higher probability scenario, which will be more, which will be clearer if it happens, when it happens. So far, not clear yet. And I want to break off this low, just to be clear. Let's mark the price here, because we have another level here. And if I take the swing, I want to make sure that this level here, the 61.8, the cheaper price in reference to this swing, is not the significant area where the market wants to move away from. It's not going to hold this low, and it's going to break lower. But the break lower will be a confirmation below this level right here, 1.44. If it does that. Now if it doesn't and it goes higher, then this is the next thing I'll be looking for, because you kind of see we're kind of in a range here. We are making higher highs gradually, but really want to break major structural highs before we say that on the big time frame, on a higher time frame, we are going higher. It is bullish, it's looking bullish, I admit, but overall on this, after all this big down move, really want to see a bit more confirmation. So that is my preference. That's the way I'm looking at it. This level may hold, so I'll be watching for it here as well. Let's just clear this up a little bit so that it's not too confusing for you. We do want to have clean charts all the time. That's the preference. So here's that low. Don't need this line. That was just a reference point. So here's the scenarios that I am looking at on the EURAUD. Now we do have CAD news. Let's see how things play out on the CAD, depending on whether it's strong or weak after the news, what it wants to do. And then it'll be probably more likely to have a clearer picture on EURAUD as well. Okay, that's the picture on the EURAUD. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Next one's another CAD pair. Let's move in a bit more. Oops, logical order. Right, let's look at CAD yen then, and what we've got here. So here's the monthly. Monthly, we've got a very bullish price action, we've got very strong candle. We had a very weak yen, so it kind of coincides. And now what we've got is this extreme price point. We've got a what looks like a brief turnaround on the weekly. Last week closed very bearish, so it may be that we've got a bit of continuation to the downside on CAD yen. Now we do have CAD news, as I was saying. earlier. We have that on calendar, so let's bear that in mind. Let's look on the daily. We can see that we've got several bearish days, and with this being weak last week, however, we can also bear in mind that on the bigger time frame we are still bullish and we don't have any bearish sign in terms of the market being very weak at the moment. This is just a brief pullback. Because of that, I will bear in mind that this could be a short-lived idea if we're going to sell CAD yen, and we're not going to expect miracles from it just yet because we don't have any clear sign of bearishness. You can see the candle here closed, and as soon as it closed, just opened the next month of July and then went down. So this is a kind of a profit-taking period. After all this buying, very, very strong buying for a whole month, we have a bit of retracement, which is to be expected. So what kind of retracement are we looking for? Well, the last week was a bit bearish, so the reference points that I would watch for is the last obvious swings, which would be this week right here, and then we can see this gap in the price of the market. Let's have a look on the daily. This is what we're seeing here. If I take a fib from the last swing low to the high, the 61.8 and 78 falls right here. Just remove that now. Now we go to our 4-hour, and I'll be looking at this to be the next place for the market to reach for, and then into these areas here, which are the zone we marked out on the higher time frame. So let me just mark that out here, about 105, 106, 105. Or 105.3, right? So here's that retracement, swing, swing, and possibly the next swing point right here. So here we go. Those daily candles closing bearish. So we're going to have a look at the next swing when we have it, if that occurs. We have a level here. If that swing occurs, we have the first target down here, this level where it's just marked out, and then the second target will be down here. If we breach this high here, which is the last swing that we can see, then we'll no longer be interested in this idea, and that would invalidate it. But for the moment, slightly lower probability, I would say, because we are trading a retracement, not with the trend at the moment. And because of that, the market could be a bit choppier. So expect it to not happen as quickly as it normally would on a trend-based idea. But for now, this is what I'm looking for on the CAD yen. This is a swing. It's a possible swing. If you want to draw a fib from the last high to the low to give you a bit of a better picture, here's the 61.8. There's the more expensive price area to sell from. Okay, so that's the idea on CAD yen. Again, just bearing in mind that it's not with the trend at the moment. So as always, just as you would with every trade, manage your risk, but trying to be flexible and find something perhaps on a lower time frame to trade with. Okay, let's have a look at the next one on the list. Let's just put it back in order. Okay, so last one on the list, we've gone through what we have. We've done pound dollar, we've done pound Aussie, euro CAD, and CAD yen. And let's look at Bitcoin finally. One we've been watching for, one we've been looking at and monitoring. Here is a Bitcoin. So what have we got? Well, you can clearly see bullish, bullish, bullish. Big bullish candle, big bullish momentum, just as we did here. Moved away. And look, let's look on the daily. You can see this is the idea we had last week, and I believe the week before as well, right? 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that's what I've been waiting for, and I'm going to continue to wait for this because, well, this is still the higher probability idea to watch for. So here's that low. Here's the high. Again, quickly draw the fib. Here's the 61.8 level. Here's the halfway point. So I would prefer the market to reach deeper into this area as I drew here before going higher into these highs. Looking on the weekly, here's the swing high. Here's the last high where we're at the moment. And here is the picture now. You can see we've been consolidating here. So a break through this consolidation would be the first signal that we are heading to the downside. We can see there's a gap in price and the market is hesitating, not going higher. But who knows, we may just shoot high if we don't get this better price, a cheaper price to buy from. What can you say? So be it. That's what happens. Sometimes the market leaves without us, and it is what it is. But the main thing is, want to see that cheaper price. At the moment, consolidating. Last 2 weeks, just doing nothing, not moving, and really want to see a drop before going higher. So price action. Market stalling, just like you could kind of see here, market stalls before it actually popped, and we want to see a similar thing in order for the high probability scenario, or a real push down and then leaving a wick to the downside. At the moment, the consolidation is still going on, so we want to just wait. Again, you can leave an alert, even multiple alerts. One, you can also do one below. And then you could do one at an extreme low. You can see a bit of a gap in the price here. Again, so an extreme retracement also be possible. So these alerts will keep you updated based on the price action, and you'll see what happens when it gets there, if it gets there, and then make a decision from there. Let the probabilities come to us, not try to chase it. Sometimes you can put a pending order. Obviously that's a little bit riskier because you don't have as much information and you're assuming the market will turn around, but it can work if you have the guts to do it and you're very convinced of your setup, if it's a very high probability scenario. Again, it doesn't matter which method you use, but manage your risk, and it may be that you're not on the chart, so you might not be able to watch it and you'll have to make use of those pending orders. Right then, we'll see how the market plays out this week. Bear in mind the high impact news events on the calendar, and have a good trading week, guys. And as always, next week I'll be back with more setups. All right. Thanks very much for joining me, and have a good trading week, everyone. Bye for now.